think one of the things during all the lockdowns that people talk about mental health, and one of the groups of people I think have struggled have been grandparents not being able to see their grandchildren in the UK. And we know how quickly they grow. And my wife Mercy and granddaughter Anastasia are two peas in a pod. They have just been joined at the hip since she was born, and they're just lovely together. And of course, when the borders shut and they couldn't see each other, all that was left was some video calling, and that's not great. And so I came across them one day, both in tears. Anastasia was saying, I really miss the Isle of Man and sleeping in my bed and playing at the fairy tree with the fairies. And of course, when she cried, it made Mercy cry because they're so close. And it just started me thinking about a story. And so the story is basically that my wife takes a Manx Fairy, Jasmine, across to visit Anae, and they have a lovely adventure in the Magic Kingdom and meet unicorns. And it's just a lovely sort of bedtime story thing that started there, and it's just hopefully going to raise some more good money for breast cancer now on the Isle of Man.
So do you get the whole story at once in your head, or do you sort of get the idea for the story and then have to develop it?
It's my process is fairly sort of, I have an idea and I sit down and I start writing with no idea where it's going, and then things just occur to me, and I often wake up in the middle of the night with an idea and have to write it down or even go down and type it, and so it just sort of happens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't quite know why or how, but it certainly has got me addicted now, and I've written 3 others. So
this is the first of a series, possibly, then?
Well, I'm calling them the Manx Bedtime Story Series, and each one has a colour. So I've written Pink, which is the one that's out in the shops now, and The Adventures of a Manx Fairy. And I've written Red, which is about a dragon called Rufus. And I've written Blue, which is about a fire engine called Walter. And I've written Yellow, which is about Gertrude, an elephant.
This is fantastic. And who knew when you retired that this is what you were going to do?
Very bizarre for me. It really is. And my mother, who was an excellent English primary school teacher, would absolutely laugh if she could see me write, because she knows my grammar and punctuation are dreadful, and that I'm a dyslexic maths teacher. So of all her 3 children, I would be the least likely to start writing books.
And though it is, as you said, called Pink, The Adventures of a Manx Fairy, we must mention Carmen, because as we said, she's an extraordinary young girl, Carmen, who illustrated your previous book. Just remind people a little bit about her who might have missed you previously.
Well, Carmen, she is a high-functioning autism child, teenager now, and she can really, really draw. And it's amazing. When you see the work she did last year compared to what's in the book this year, you can see how her skills have developed.
You really can.
And it is, I use the word awesome because it is. And she has a real talent, and I'm hoping that the books will help her towards a future and give her a stepping stone towards being an illustrator. She's also very, very good at animation. And when the story was written, I did actually think it might be something to publish, so I actually wrote it with a wider audience in mind this time. I asked if she wanted to illustrate it, and she jumped at the chance and produced some fantastic pictures. And then there's a third cog in the wheel this time, and that is that I was talking to the wonderful Sue Jolly down at the family library, because I was saying that what was happening, and she said, well, do you know next door is Bunch Creative, which is a new publishing company on the Isle of Man? And so I went and knocked on the door and met Phoebe, who's their graphic designer. And she is the one who's actually digitized all Carmen's pictures so they can be made bigger and smaller for the computer. And she's the one who's done the layout of the book. And she's done a fantastic job.
It does look stunning, doesn't it? It's
and
really
all their profits from Bunch go into helping the family library run. So it's a very nice win-win situation with her. Once that was all in place, then I needed some sponsorship, and I'm very grateful to the Arts Council again. They're super supportive to people on the island with, desires to be creative and artistic. And I applied to them, and they gave me some money. And then it kind of got out of hand a little in terms of we just wanted more and more and stuff. So to make it better and better. And so 2 other sponsors came on board. We had James and Norman from Hartford Homes. and Patricia Wild Optician have all helped and contributed to make it a quality product, I would have to say.
It is.
It does. It looks
It's lovely.
gorgeous. And the pink theme, of course, continue with the support with Breast Cancer Now.
Well, once you've written a book called Pink, there's not many charities you can think of other than breast cancer. And I had a friend and colleague about 25 years ago called Joan Brooks, who worked at St Ninian's with me, and she started the breast cancer charity on the Isle of Man. And having remembered that, I contacted them and said, can I use your logo and can I raise money for you? And a lovely thing for me is that they put me back in touch with Jan, who lives in the UK now with her daughter Sarah, who helped at school, and her two daughters, twins, Freya and Erin, who are both 8. And so, of course, 8-year-old girls, they were the perfect people to read the story and give me some feedback. And they sent me a lovely little video blog telling me all the good things they liked about it. And then they took it into their school for World Book Day, which I thought was fantastic. And then every time I was talking to them, they were always crafting or colouring in. So at the back of the book, there's a page you can take out and colour in, which is lovely. And their little fairy that they did for their book day is in the back of the book as well for them. So
That's fabulous.
that's just been a lovely thing for me to reconnect with Jan. And sadly, we all know somebody, I think, who's had breast cancer or has had, touched by that horrible disease. And breast cancer now are very much about the research and the science to find a cure. And they've set, I think, 2050 as their time where they're looking to prevent breast cancer. And so it just seemed appropriate that all of that came together. And we're going to try and raise £1,000 again. And fingers crossed, the Manx public are fantastic. I'm sure they'll support it.
I'm sure they will. And it is a fabulous book. It's well worth checking out and buying for all of those reasons. I have to ask you, though, what did your granddaughter think of the story?
She received the book last night, and as only a sort of nearly 5-year-old little girl who's into pink and sparkles and fairies and unicorns could be, she was absolutely on the ceiling. She was so excited. I don't think she slept.
She's named in this story. It's
No,
fabulous.
and if you look carefully at the picture of it on the front, there's a little mole on her forehead, and Phoebe was able to put the little dot in just to personalise it even more to her, which is lovely. And it is a lovely story, but the illustrations are fantastic from Carmen.
Yeah.
And Phoebe's graphic design work on the book has been just unbelievable. I've been so blessed having those two people around to make my story come alive.
And it's lovely. There's a quote from Carmen talking about working on this book, and she says it's like a way of escaping from worries and stuff, which is just you can see that she just say it helps her to relax. It's like getting away from the stress and pressure, and sometimes other people as well. So it's really made a difference to her as well. She said it makes me feel happy and calm, which is fabulous.
Losing yourself in art, isn't it? You sort of
It is.
you just take yourself into your own world. I sort of
Yeah.
can relate to that. It's lovely
So
thing to
all
do.
round a fabulous product indeed. So tell us where people can get hold of it then, Rob.
Well, the other nice thing that's happened this time, it's far more professional this time, because last time I was going around with the books under my arm and going to car boot sales and school fairs. This time, David at the Lexicon is again hosting the book, and they're on the side there for you to buy in town. But ShopRite have come on board through help from contacts from Breast Cancer Now, got in touch with ShopRite, and Gillian down there has been great with me. And as of today, I think you can go to the lottery counter in the 5 big ShopRites and the book will be there. Price £5, which is just the same as a comic, but with so much more in terms of it's a lovely bedtime story and it's supporting a fantastic charity. So you can get them there. You can also buy it online.
Ooh, how
Yes, I
really
know, real
modern.
technology. At Bunch Creative, if you go to Bunch Creative, they've got a Bunch Books, and I'm proud to say mine is the first one on their collection. And you can click on there, which means that anyone in the UK can buy it as well. It's now sort of available almost around the world, but I'll stick with the UK for now. And we've already had some orders through, which is lovely.